Well, the first presidential debate of 2024 is over between President Joe Biden and his challenger, Donald Trump. I'm going to tell you what I thought of the debate, and you're not going to like it. Hi, I'm David Tomsik of the Tomsik Analysis. I'm glad you can join me on this June 29th, 2024, coming to you from the great city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the Steel City, here in southwestern Pennsylvania. I did watch the debate. Well, no, I watched some of the debate. I thought it was a debacle. Now, to those of you steeped in politics, looking for your candidate to be the guy that's going to take the country and lead it to the next great height of civilization, many of those are Biden fans. Many of those are Trump fans. I'm a political atheist, so I'm neither of their fans, which is why I can give you an honest opinion on what I thought about this great presidential debate debacle. Okay? First of all, Joe Biden should not represent the Democratic Party as its candidate for president. Let's be honest, it is elder abuse. That comes from his own family, from his wife Jill, from his aides, his mentors, his donors, those that are supporting him, even though his mental faculties have diminished so greatly, it's hard to even recognize him from the guy 5, 6, 7 years ago. Okay? So he should not be running. Politics aside, his views and points of view and his policies aside, he should not be running as a presidential candidate for our country. By the same token, Donald Trump should never have been there either. Now, I know there's people that will watch this video and despise me for saying that. Once again, being a political atheist, I can say that and still be able to tell you the truth. And it's because I'm a political atheist that I can talk to you frankly this day. Okay, let's be honest. What did you glean from the debate? See, the idea of the debate is to really show what your plans are and how you will implement them in the coming 4 years. America faces a lot of troubles, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. What did you glean? Donald Trump talked about illegal immigration almost the whole time, because you see, he knows and his aides know that that's a soft spot for many people. They are angry about it. So we just want your votes. We're not going to tell you how really we're going to solve it. We're not going to tell you our plans, how we're going to implement them, so that you understand if he's elected, how he will face the issue. And Joe Biden, on the other hand, was rambling about stuff I couldn't understand either. But knowing his policies, I already kind of understand what he's going to do the next 4 years. Or should I say what his administration and those in the deep state, those that run the government, the elites behind them, are going to do. And you see, even though Donald Trump, everybody wants to say he's independent, he's a multi-billionaire, he doesn't need the money, he still has an agenda. And much of his agenda does not include you. He knows how to hit the right bells and whistles as well. He has Christians, Pentecostal Christians, born-again Christians, basically by the throat. They've got nowhere else to go but him. See, he's their savior. I see shirts that say that all the time. He's going to fix America, and he said he's going to fix it in 6 months or less. Don't talk about 2 or 3 years. He don't want to talk to you. It's 6 months or less. He already has a solution for the Russian-Ukraine war that'll fix it in 1 day. And of course, people believe this because they believe in the stupendous of Trump, how great he really is, how he's a businessman, and a businessman should run the country. Well, the United States is not a business. Now, yes, it's a corporation, and there's a lot of the theories behind the fact that it's a corporation. It's really run by the elites anyway. But the United States is not a business, because if it was, you wouldn't be $34 trillion in debt. Just debt, okay? But I digress. So both of them, in my book, should not even be in front of those cameras for the debate. But see, this is where we're at with the country. With a failing empire comes failing, miserable, egotistical leaders. Joe Biden refuses to be removed from the campaign, from the ticket. His wife, Jill, refuses. You see, they all have a stake in it, and so does his staff. Run, even though the chances are he's going to lose. Keep running. What was good for his party? For him to be removed from the ticket. On the other hand, Donald Trump was proclaimed the king of all things. And he was going to be the one at the top of the ticket no matter what, because the millions of Trump fans who think he somehow is going to save America and make it great again never really thought it out. I hate the terminology, make America great again. Someone told me, well, I want it great when I can walk on the streets of the city of Pittsburgh. Well, technically, in many places, you never could walk on the streets in Pittsburgh safely. They use these paradigms to prove that he's going to go back to those days. How? He hasn't explained it. Without what? Without some kind of tyrannical government, you can't go back to anything. You can't solve crime and deport millions of people without military, without a structure of control, which is in existence today, thanks to both parties. You see, there is no fix for this. There's no political solution to a spiritual problem. But many of these people, many are Christians, and I consider myself a Christian, they believe that he is God's chosen to fix everything, to buy us time, to get people, whatever. And yet I listen to many, many experts. Many of them are Christian researchers, as I am, and will tell you, no, that's not really what's happening. So what did we glean from this debate? We found out how cognitively handicapped Joe Biden is. It wasn't a fair debate. Trump didn't have to say anything. All he really had to do was point out, he doesn't remember. It made him sound so smart and great, and people were cheering. He destroyed him in a debate. He didn't debate anything. He did not debate. He played the game. Well, he has to get elected. No. Oh, hold on. We want to know how you're going to solve the problems. Just coming out in 6 months or less, I'll solve all the problems. To me, that's disgusting for someone to even say that, as arrogant as that sounds. But to many people I know, it's God's man. He's going to fix it. He doesn't tell you how, does he? Because he doesn't know how. It's another scam to get elected, to get in there, maybe a few executive orders. And here's the question with Trump more than Biden. Everybody hates Trump within the government. You can't fire everybody. You can't replace anybody. You can't threaten everybody. How do you do anything? How do you get anything done without executive orders? Most of Congress doesn't like him. He may get some things done. You're going to fix the border? Really? Well, tried that the first 4 years. Oh, he knows better now. Okay, maybe he does. But meanwhile, the damage has been done during his administration and Biden's with 40, 50 million people coming in this country. Yeah, I think it's 40, 50 million. They're here already. How do you deport them all? What do you do? You see, there's no real plan. They're not telling you the plan because they don't know the plan. Without military action, without some kind of tyrannical movement of the government against people, how are you going to do it? And what collateral damage will you cause? People already hate you. Half the country's already against you. Will this cause more riots? You see, there's more and more questions than there are answers. Okay? He has a General Keith Kellogg is his advisor. He worked with him when he was president. This guy is U.S. Army. Okay? He came out with a plan for Donald Trump to solve the Russian-Ukraine war. Now, this is where I have problems with both parties, with much of our political system. And, of course, Kellogg's plan was dead on arrival, okay? Before he's even elected president, if he is elected president, Donald Trump's plan for peace in the Middle East, in Ukraine, has already been bashed by the Ukrainians. And I'm sure the Russians, knowing the deal they were trying to make, would do the same. And you might say, well, why would you say that, David? He wants peace. If you don't understand, and if you go and watch my other videos on the Ukraine war, and I consider myself rather an expert in this, If you can listen to the talk, the rhetoric, what's happening on the battlefields, what's happening globally, what's happening between countries outside of America, you'll understand why Donald Trump and his buddy Keith Kellogg, general, lieutenant general, whatever it is, his plan is idiotic at best. You see, this is my point. Most of our government refuses to look at America as it is today instead of as it was 20 years ago. The same country that survived the Cold War came out walking on top of the dead corpse of the communist grouping that was the Soviet Union. Those things have changed. If you don't know this, then you're stuck with the same rhetoric and narrative and propaganda that the illusionists in Washington, D.C. and their idiots that read the news in front of those cameras tell you every day. Everybody's a bad guy but us. You know, we are still the supreme country, the exceptional people. Really, are we? You see, we put ourselves over top of every other country in the world, every other species of people, we call them. People are people no matter where they are in the world. And these people are turning away from the rules-based order. The rules-based order, that's right. America, the United States is rules-based order they've controlled for 60 years. Those days are gone. And what's left of them are falling apart like our empire. Donald Trump has no clue, still thinks it's the same country it was in 1991 after the Soviet Union fell. So does Joe Biden and his staff and those behind the scenes. And everybody Trump brings on thinks and feels the same way. Nothing will get done because we don't understand that the world is now a multipolar world, not a unipolar world. There are multiple countries that are superpowers, that are economic powers. We can't intimidate. We can't browbeat, threaten. We're going to solve the war because we're just going to tell you what we're going to do and you're going to go along with it. We're already in an escalator in Ukraine. It's bad. If you haven't read or haven't heard, American-made ATACMS missiles were launched into Crimea. I think 4 were shot down, 1 was partially shot down, and it exploded and fragmented over a beach in Sevastopol on a holiday, a Christian holiday of Pentecost, I believe, in Sevastopol. People were on the beach, killing children, other people, wounding over 100. This, of course, sent the Russians into overdrive with anger and basically told the Americans there will be a retaliation directly against America. They hold America responsible because, yes, it's our missile, our technician, our basically logistical database, our drones that gave the coordinates to where to attack. Yeah, it's an American attack on a beach of people in Sevastopol. The rest of the world has seen this. The rest of the world, the southern globe, East, the Middle East, look at this as America creating war crimes. That's what they think. That's what they believe. No matter what we think we say, and this is my point with Donald Trump and Joe Biden, those people think this is okay. It's war. We're at war. Yes, we are. But we don't understand that these countries now are not going to back down. They're not the little kid in the classroom that's being bullied. They've grown up, and they have teeth and muscle and resolve now. There's alliances that are built against us. And yes, the news says they're attacking the U.S. dollar. Yes, they are. What's wrong with that? We've attacked every other currency in the world. We've attacked people, countries. We've killed, assassinated, droned, overthrown, threatened, sanctioned countries around the world. Some are our friends, or were our friends. So what difference is going to be that Donald Trump gets elected or Joe Biden? Yeah, maybe some of it socially changes, maybe. But again, there's no political solution to a spiritual problem. So really, you can't legislate everybody to get along. You can't force people to do what you want them to do. That ship sailed many, many years ago. That ship sailed in the 60s when our culture was corrupted. The new age of love and anti-Christian rhetoric started, where we don't have any morals anymore. They've been destroyed. And no president's going to fix them. No president who we believe some kind of savior has the ability to fix them. We're on a path. The American empire is falling, just like Rome. Debasement of currency. Military that's weakened over the years, being in 5 million places at one time. A military-industrial complex that sells us planes like the F-35, that most of which are grounded because they don't work. We don't have enough people joining our National Guard or armed forces, so they want to create a new the National Defense Authorization Act. They're trying to pass an addendum to that to draft women now. Because, you see, we don't have enough soldiers to fight in any battle. Our economy being destroyed. The dollar's, although still strong, is under attack. And it will continue to be under attack by the BRICS nations that are creating their own currency, creating their own system of transactions outside of the Western world. It'll make it more and more difficult for America to threaten people with sanctions, threaten them to not be able to make transactions, to buy stuff globally. This is going to come about one way or the other. And it does rival the dollar. We will no longer be the world's supreme currency. The Saudi Arabia, after 50 years, has not renewed the petrodollar agreement between them and the United States. They will not now just use the U.S. dollar as the only currency to buy oil with. They've opened the door to everyone, or just about everyone. These are attacks against us in a way, but that doesn't mean they're bad guys. That means they're smart and prudent, making decisions to protect themselves and their people from, that's right, the rules-based order that we here in America use against people with a sledgehammer. Gunboat diplomacy. So this debate was really a debacle to me. It proved nothing. And those of you shaking and screaming, oh, Donald Trump killed him. Did he? Donald Trump didn't do anything special. There was no real debate. I'd rather have had a real debate between ideas and solutions than just trying to prove that someone else is incompetent. We all knew that. And maybe they said, well, many more people do. Yeah. Whatever. Listen, there is no political solution to a spiritual problem. And there's a spiritual problem in America and the Western worlds for sure. Our empire, the American empire, like the Dutch and the British before us, is collapsing. And those of you holding on to the dream, and there's many conservatives that hold on to the dream, that nothing that's happening matters, that the dollar is still going to be great and this country will survive. You need $100 trillion in debt to have any problems in America. These people who come up with this stuff are liars. Or they're so sucked into the system that they'll believe anything. Our way of life, if you look into the streets of cities that I have, it's collapsing. Our cities are crumbling. And we just think, oh, I was at Chicago. I was at a great place to eat. Go to Chicago. There's fewer and fewer places that are safe. I know that from people that have lived there and worked there. Go to Baltimore, Detroit. Detroit's getting better. Yeah, is it? We want to grab onto things and hold on and say, this is the proof that everything's going to be, there it is. Okay. And I'm the guy making everybody feel bad because I'm telling you these things. What I'm telling you is the truth. I've been telling you to prepare for years. Nobody seems to think that's a big deal. I have friends, good friends, talk to me for 10 years. You're right. And would tell me things. You got to be ready with food, water, and these things. You got to at least be ready. You got to have a mindset to be ready because things can happen quickly here. Just like that AT&T outage. Phones and internet went down. No one knew what to do. We were confused. They stormed the AT&T store. Stormed it. Blamed the clerk making $10 or $12 an hour for their issues. That clerk was somehow going to repair $1 billion communication systems from his desk in a mall. This is the indispensable people. Americans, we don't know what to do. One girl was crying on the phone. I don't know where I'm at. I don't have GPS. Be ready. But no, I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy for telling you the truth. Because people don't want the truth. What they want is an easy fix for everything. And they don't want to have to do anything for it. I remember coaching baseball. I wasn't a great coach. Just a guy with a kid in baseball. Parents wanted their kid to play first base. I said, have you ever worked with your kid for first base? They've never worked with their kid for any base. Kid never played baseball, but he wanted to play first base. He didn't want to put the work in, so I threw him over at first base. And we had a pretty big kid that was at shortstop, threw him a bullet, almost broke his nose. Didn't know how to catch the ball because no one worked with him. He didn't put any work in. He just wanted to throw the glove onto the field. Automatically, it'll catch things. That's America. Well, we don't know much about communications and the threats that are coming against us. We don't realize that our communication system can be taken down in a flash of a lightning bolt. We don't know that people can hack their way into any system in this country and shut it down if they want. It's happening across the country. The car dealers were the next ones. Then it was tractor sell. People sold tractors. Hacked. Our county here was hacked about a month ago. Ransomware. They had to pay the ransom. They couldn't get it back and running. Nobody wants to believe anything because you see right now there's many people living pretty well. And it's not going to hurt them. But you know who it's hurting right now? The less fortunate. Middle class. Many restaurants are struggling. I go to even some of the more fashionable areas in this town, in the suburbs. Less and less people going into Five Guys restaurants. Who can afford Five Guys? Panera. $3.48 for $3.48 for a muffin. $3.48 for a muffin. Oh, Trump can fix that. Oh, shut up. How? Tell me how, because he helped create it. He did. Oh, Joe Biden added his 5 cents to it too, 5 billion cents. Both these guys were knee-deep in it, people, and stop making excuses. Great economy. No, it wasn't. Trump, GDP, gross domestic product for Donald Trump is an average of 2% average. 3 at one point, then 1.5. Depending on where you're at, he was claiming it was going to be 5 and 6%. He lied because he doesn't know what he's doing. Biggest tax cut in history couldn't create GDP over 3%. Greatest economy. And Joe Biden. There's no inflation. See, both of them, full of it. Full of dog do or cow poo. And you people want to believe it's going to be okay. I have to vote for the less of two evils. And they won't allow anybody to challenge them. This is who we pick. You don't get really a choice. You never do. Not really. Because this country is destined to get destroyed. This country is destined for collapse. To be part of the New World Order. To be part of this great reset. And no one's just going to come in 6 months, fix it. Unless there's just another shill just wanting to get to be elected because they have to prove something. I'm back. Everybody wants me. I'm back. And the other guy can't even remember when he left. This was a debacle, this debate. And those of you that are mad at me because I didn't pick your side, I'm sorry, I don't pick sides. I'm here. The Tomsky analysis, because truth matters. I changed my tagline. Because truth matters. And if you don't like it, if you think it's sad, if you think I'm depressing, if you think I'm too harsh, if you think I don't want to lighten up and say all the good stuff that's out there, show me what the good stuff really is. Nobody has an answer. I was at the gym. Very conservative gym. I got silver sneakers. That's why I'm there. Even these people who would definitely vote 100% for Donald Trump saying it was a disaster. See, because a lot of these people were thinkers. Not just, he won, we showed them. You didn't show anybody anything. America is not the America we knew 20, 30 years ago. This empire is crumbling. Get used to it. Understand it. Prepare for it. Listen to people like me. This is really the only channel that I even listen to anymore. And I had quite a few people I've listened to that have disappointed me. Bad news, fake news, because they got their news from the same people that Donald Trump and Joe Biden did. The people that were based their whole existence on the ideology of that American juggernaut that appeared 200 years ago. Now it's at the end. And we're going to hold on, people. Gerald Celente, the great trends researcher, I've mentioned him before in other videos, always would say that people in charge, people running for offices, are sociopaths and psychopaths. I agree with him. And he says when there's trouble, all of them always bring you to war. We're going to be at war with multiple countries. It's a done deal. I'm sorry, people. Who knows when this will blow up in Ukraine? We got war in the Middle East. China, now we're starting a tariff. We're going to start ratcheting that up. Doing drills in the South China Sea and poking that dragon while we're poking the bear in Ukraine. And a military that is so stretched that it'd be difficult to fight these wars in those locations anyway. These countries are done with us. It would have been better to use a thing called diplomacy. We don't. What we use is the gunboat diplomacy, which no longer works. I hope you understand, folks, what I'm going and saying here. Stay tuned to the Tomsic Analysis. We're going to have more and more information on the economy, on things that are happening. I wanted to get this one out here about what I call the Great Presidential Debacle. And it was a debacle. And I hope that most of you who maybe disagreed will think about this as the day moves on and you understand that this isn't about presidents, especially when they have less and less authority in this country, when most of the decisions are made on a global and international level, where people within our own governments, the military-industrial complex, the pharmaceutical groups, the donors that we don't even know, control a lot of what's going on. So thank you for joining me. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this video. Before I leave, I'm going to challenge you all. I am sort of being boxed in by YouTube, and I'd like to grow this channel. I'd like to get the hours watched and those likes and those comments up that the Google algorithm starts putting my videos at the top of the list instead of the bottom. I need your help to do that. Watch the videos to the end. Share them. I got 66 videos. I don't care if you put them on loop. I need people to start watching these videos to get this channel where it needs to be so we reach more people. And I'm asking all of you to help me do that. Thank you. Remember, Jesus Christ is the answer to everything. And he's got a plan for this world and for you. So God bless you. And again, I'll see you next time right here on the #1 channel for news and commentary, the Tomsic Analysis.